Hi, HR Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the HR Leaders Podcast, the show where we discuss the future of work with today's most innovative and successful people leaders. Today, we have a special guest on the show. We're joined by Jennifer Heinz, who's the Chief HR Officer at Pond Lehocky. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. I'm so happy we made this happen. If anyone else could see what happens in the background, they'd probably never come on the show. So I appreciate you joining us. We'll keep that between us forever, all right?
Of course. Absolutely.
I'm only joking. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself personally and your journey to where we are today.
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm the Chief Human Resource Officer of Pond Lehocky Stearns Giordano. We are the largest Pennsylvania workers' compensation and social security law firm. We now have 13 offices throughout the nation. So we're going nationwide, and we help injured workers get their medical benefits and get the compensation they deserve for being injured on the job.
Amazing.
So my journey started about 22 years ago working as a legal secretary, and I was in a law firm that had a pretty bad culture that I was looking to get out of. And I heard about another firm that was known for its culture. So I jumped on the opportunity to join them. And I worked under my current boss and managing partner there for 8 years before he decided to leave and start his own firm, where we are now. And he asked me to join him and help manage the firm. And we opened our doors in 2010 with 22 staff members. So never having managed a law firm before, I really was wearing a lot of different hats. I was HR, I was marketing, I was facilities and operations. I was doing it all, and which I feel like has now given me the skills kind of that I needed to get to where I am today. I've been in the seat of a staff member, so I know the things that I looked for in a manager or a human resources director. And now I'm able to kind of, when we opened our doors, have a blank canvas to create a really unique and special culture where our staff enjoy coming into the office, feel valued and proud to walk through our doors, a space that's beautiful, and they're able to have a fun and rewarding work environment. So that's kind of the vision that we had when we opened our doors, and I was really excited to be a part of that.
I just want to set the tone for a second, because you mentioned the bad cultures you worked in the past, right? And that really, inspired you to build what an incredible culture you guys have now, which is really why I was excited to have you on the show. When you talk about a bad culture, what do you mean by that? What does that look like? And then how have you tried to transition from that to where you are now?
So I feel like in the past, I've worked for employers that didn't respect any ideas. They didn't allow their employees to have a voice, to come up with ideas for, trying something new or valuing their employees' feedback, something that was working, something that wasn't working, never doing anything to recognize the staff or reward them, just having a very volatile work environment. I hate to say it, but I have worked for employers. You walk in the doors and you're just on edge. So those were the things that I definitely wanted to make sure that when staff come through our doors, that they feel like they have a job security, number one, that they have a voice, because we are constantly encouraging ideas. We always feel like we could do better, and we're really rewarding staff for promoting ideas or bringing ideas to our attention, making it a fun place to work. For me, my boss has always encouraged laughing in the workplace. We laugh all day long. I mean, we deal with very high stress jobs. Our staff are dealing with clients who are injured on the job, and they're really at the worst time in their lives. Their day-to-day conversations with clients and their interactions aren't always the easiest. So it's my job on the back end to make sure that I'm providing a nice work environment that give them opportunities to decompress. And we have weekly meditation sessions. We have massage rooms that we have built into the space. And we do a lot of social things together to make sure that we're giving back to the staff to kind of balance that out for them and make sure that they're enjoying their work environment, enjoying walking through our doors every day.
It sounds like an obvious thing that should be part of every company, but the sad truth is that it's not. You spend more than half your life at work, so you'd at least expect you to be enjoying yourself and having fun along the way, right? Could you share some of the projects that you've or initiatives that you've delivered and rolled out that you're most proud of?
So when we opened our doors in 2010, we moved into turnkey office space. It was dark and traditional law firm office space here in Philadelphia. And that wasn't our image. We quickly grew out of that space and we took on 60,000 square feet in our building. And I was tasked with building out the space. And normally an HR director wouldn't be in charge of building out office space. But in this firm, it was important for me to have the staff in mind for every aspect of that build out. We surveyed them on what type of workspaces they wanted, what amenities they would like to see in their workplace. Every decision made in building out this space was based and geared around our staff. Paint colors, coffee, massage rooms, our outdoor terrace, gaming areas, everything was, like I said, just built out with them top of mind. And that was 2.5 years in the making. It was a labor of love, I will say, but it was, it's something that even to this day, we have people come in and tour our space and they compliment us on it. And it was important for me to have the staff come in every morning, walk through those doors and be proud of the environment that they're walking into. So that was probably one of the projects that I look back on and am really proud of and happy that I got to be a part of.
One other thing that stood out to me, especially in your industry, is that you also have a majority female executive team. We
do. So our executive team is made up of 5 people, and 3 of those individuals are females. Very proud of that. Very unique and not the norm. So we're super proud of that.
Is that something which was just intentional or just developed through obviously their contribution to the business and the way the industry works? How did that roll out?
Our partners are male. The 4 partners of the law firm are male. However, they have always empowered myself and my other partner, Jackie Donovan, who's the Chief Operating Officer, to speak up and to have a voice. And then when we brought on our Chief Marketing Officer, who also is female, it just so happened to work out that way. Like I said, the partners are very big into, having a woman's voice in the organization. And we're super, happy with how the team's made up, and it's been great.
Can you talk about some of your hiring and recruitment strategies that you're using to stand out amongst all of the other key players?
We've always been big on hiring for a culture rather than the resume. And there's actually a TED Talk by Regina Hartley that it hit home for me because she speaks about that. And that's exactly what we do. We're more into the cultural fit. So we recruit people that we would like to work with. You got to work with people that you like, and then we can just train them to do the job. I mean, not to say that we don't factor in their skills and their experience. We absolutely do. But for us, it was more about the culture. It's always been. We have a unique culture, so making sure that people are here that fit in with that culture is important. One of the tools that we've used in helping us do that is called the predictive index, and it's a behavioral assessment that we give to all candidates that are looking to join the firm, and we've also actually given it to every staff member within the firm. But what it does is it places people into 16 different behavioral profiles based on their motivational drive. It would help us find someone who maybe has the leadership capabilities, or, it also helped us with placement in terms of people who are joining the firm, and if their skills are something that don't really jive with working in a team environment, then we might not want to put them on the marketing team. And we have made those mistakes prior to bringing the predictive index on board. We have placed people into roles that, they weren't really comfortable with. The predictive index has helped significantly in bringing in the right candidates and also placing people within the firm.
Yeah.
We actually have everyone's placard and their profile displayed at their workstation or their office so that staff and employees know how to interact with one another and communicate with one another.
That's pretty cool.
Like, let me read. Yeah, it's been really neat. The staff love it.
So it's literally a plaque next to the desk that says what personality profile there.
That's it. Like, my profile is a persuader, so they know to come to me, how to communicate with me when they walk up to my office. They'll just read my profile and say, okay, I'm going to deal with her this way. But it has been really great in terms of, if there's any communication barriers within, people know now they understand how to communicate together.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful.
What other things have you sort of put in place to drive this new culture that you're building and that you're proud of?
We have another program that we use, and this is all techie stuff, and I'm not like normally real tech savvy. So, but these things have been great. So I'm open-minded and I'm all about it. I know that they're wonderful and necessary in building your organization, but we're using a program called Bonusly, and it's an employee recognition program. And I honestly can say that every day that I look into, the dashboard and I see all of the staff in real time, just shouting out one another for things that they've done or helped with this or helped with that. It's been so great, and our staff love it so much, and they can cash in for gift cards or whatever. And like I said, the amenities that we've provided in our workspace have been huge in fostering that culture, just getting the staff together in gaming areas or on our outdoor terrace to have lunch together or have meetings out there. They get weekly massages. We have masseuses come in every Friday and do weekly massages, and we have Monday meditation sessions. There's a lot of things that we are doing to give back to them that just foster that culture and make sure that we're, like I said, walking the walk and really showing them that we value them. A happy worker is a good worker. So we're going to make sure that we're, talking the talk and walking the walk and giving back to the staff any way we can.
How does that app work? You say it's called Bonusly.
It's called Bonusly.
Bonusly. So what is it?
It's almost like a social media platform. Like you could add GIF images, and it's all in real time. You get points. So every month the staff are allotted 100 points to give out, and they're supposed to give those points out to other members of the organization for, going above for anything. Okay. It's just been so fun. Before Bonusly, we would do like a monthly newsletter, and we would shout out staff for idea of the month or whatever. Right. No, and this is much better. And so I would highly recommend that as well.
When we first spoke as well, before we did this, you mentioned how you were so excited about the fact you were free to make decisions and that you felt that was a competitive advantage. Can you talk about that?
My team and I are the senior leadership team, but the partners have empowered us to kind of address problems and make decisions without having to kind of go through the motions or the chain of command or like spin our wheels on waiting for an answer.
Is that how it normally works in industry, by the way? Just for everyone who was that? Yeah. Just
no, I wouldn't say so. It's very rare that it would work that way. It doesn't normally work that way, but we have an open door policy. That's like the wonderful thing about the partners here is from top to bottom, it's an open door policy. So they empower the leadership team to make decisions and address problems and move on. We learn, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we don't, but it's been great. And we do empower our staff the same way to kind of have feedback, have input, and learn and grow from things and address problems. It's not really like a hierarchy where we have to wait for the answer. It's been wonderful.
As you said last time, that's how you stay competitive, right? Outside of what you've already discussed, which is amazing, by the way. You guys are I feel like I need to come work for you guys and get a massage.
Yeah, right.
What are the things that really occupy your mind on a day-to-day basis? What does a typical day in your world look like?
Yeah. So for me, what occupies my mind in terms of my role is just living up to the brand. The partners have worked tirelessly to build their reputations and the firm's brand. And it's really about exceptional service to our clients, really a cutting edge law firm that isn't, the stereotypical law firm. So for me, it's making sure that I'm holding up my end of the bargain in terms of providing for the staff and creating that culture and fostering that culture and making sure that we're giving back to our staff so that they can, service our clients and really live up to that brand. So that for me is what keeps me up at night.
Yeah. Would you say, because my next question was really, what do you think, you've literally you've worked in every role in the business. You started out, you just say as a legal assistant?
A legal secretary.
Legal secretary. Yeah, sorry. And now you're the CHRO. What was the biggest challenge that you personally faced during that time?
I think the biggest challenge was dealing with human beings. I didn't have the HR babackground. So
Yeah.
it's hard to deal with people,
It's a very honest answer,
so,
by the way. I love it. Love it.
and that for me was a bit challenging. I learning how to deal with people, and like I said, bringing on those programs that have helped understand what motivates people and people need managed differently. Through the years, it's been quite the ride, but my boss has always said that human beings would be the biggest obstacle, and it really couldn't be more true. That has been the biggest challenge, but I love it. Like, dealing with people is my passion. I love talking with people, working with people, and creating like a really great environment. So that for me is rewarding, but it also has been the biggest obstacle.
Yeah. Looking back, would you have done anything differently? Looking back, just for anyone who's on a similar journey, if you look back on the journey, to anything you would have done differently along the way?
What I would have done differently is maybe in the beginning, I would have had a little bit more confidence. I think I was always hesitant. I think I held myself back a lot in the beginning. But when I was pushed to take the chance and do things that were outside of my comfort zone, it's been
where the magic
amazing.
happens.
And exactly. And it was all of those experiences, like you said, that have kind of brought me to where I am today and really have helped pave the way. If I didn't do it, then, I wouldn't be where I was today. So it's been really amazing.
Yeah. I could see you thinking there and reflecting on the journey.
Like looking back. Yeah.
You're like,
right.
I'm like, look back. You're like, wow, okay, let me take a second here to look. Now, the reason I asked that question is obviously you have a very unconventional route to your role, and you was very honest in your answer, and that normally is the biggest challenge is people. It doesn't matter what role you're in, whether you're in HR or supply chain, sales, whatever the people element is the toughest part. And if you can master that, or at least get to grips with it, I don't think you can ever master it, to be honest.
Right.
Well.
Exactly.
And that's why you see so many other leaders transitioning from different roles into the CHRO role being successful, because they led teams in yes, it was in marketing or sales, etc., finance, but the principles are still the same as well. And the technical part of HR is probably the easiest part, because you can learn and master that, right?
Sure.
But the actual people part is always going to be the biggest challenge. This leads us quite nicely onto our quick fire round. So I know you wasn't expecting this, so I'm going to throw you in the deep end right now.
Okay.
We do this with every guest. So basically, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you have no longer than 30 seconds to give us some amazing answers. Are you ready?
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
What was the number one thing that was holding you back from becoming a senior HR leader?
That's easy. Myself was holding myself back. Like I said, I was apprehensive that maybe I couldn't do it.
And by the way, over probably 80+% of the 200 guests have said the same answer as that. And I also, when people ask me that, I always say that it's very common that most of the time we are holding ourselves back. It's actually pushing for our own personal discomfort. I always say seek comfort in discomfort. Like that's where you want to. That's kind of where you want to operate from, because that's where the magic happens.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
And my boss, he had told me 17 years ago, don't be afraid to step on a landmine. And that has stuck with me personally and professionally for all of these years. Take chances, step outside your comfort zone. You may make a mistake. It's not always going to be smooth, but that's where you learn and you grow. And it really is so true. And that has always stuck with me.
Yeah. Well, if you're working in HR, there's going to be some landmines. So it's part of the role, guys. Yeah, so exactly. What's one book or a book do you recommend, and why?
A book that I would recommend actually is not HR related is something that we give here at the firm to all of our managers and our attorneys. And it's called You Can't Teach Hungry by John Morgan, which is actually another law firm. It's basically about finding the individuals who have the drive and are hungry, the insatiable versus satiable appetite, and those folks. And I think from an HR perspective, it can be helpful in terms of your future leaders, seeing who really has that appetite and that drive. And that book, it's a very easy read, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, we give it to everybody in our firm, attorneys and managers.
I'm actually going to get a copy of that after, because that's something I've been thinking about recently, is how do that's what I look for in my sales team. Those people that are hungry, and I'm always like, how do I find
Highly
them?
recommend it.
How do I identify these people? Because when you do find them, they end up being the most successful people that are, that we hire and make the most impact as well. But it's very difficult to identify those people. So I'll definitely have a copy of that book as well. And could you share some internet resources you use to increase your own productivity, stay up to the date of current events? If we go on your Google Chrome browser, what are the most common websites you're using, on a weekly basis to stay in tune?
Sure. Well, I Google everything. I think everybody on the planet does. But beyond that, I watch a lot of TED Talks. That's how I usually identify who I want to have present at our annual retreat. We take our staff away every year for a 2-day firm retreat. We do like team building exercises. We have a professional speaker come in. And last year we had Jason Dorsey come in, who I found on a TED Talk. And he presented to our firm about bridging the generational gap. We have, a lot of different ages here within the firm. We have 257 employees. So learning how they can kind of work together. His presentation is energizing. It's really fun, and it has opened our eyes, and it was really great. So I think the TED Talks have been huge for me in terms of those type of things. But those are what I really focus the most on.
Yeah, well, TED Talk is probably the number one answer to that as well. So for me, it's the TED Talks, LinkedIn, and some podcasts, right? That's kind of, we could name a million different podcasts that are out there for these things. And then last question, this is the easiest one. What's one thing about your business that most excites you?
The growth, and we have a chief strategy officer who is super creative and innovative, and he is always coming up with new technology or something new, a new vision, a new idea. And it's those things that are exciting for me. I'm not as young as most of the folks here. So just seeing them in action and being a part of it, and trying new things and taking risks and chances to kind of go outside of that law firm box or comfort zone. That's the most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to. Every day or every week, it's something new, a new idea that we're willing to try and test out to service the clients and build our brand.
Amazing. It always makes you smile and makes me happy when I speak to a HR leader that says they're excited about growth. So that's always a good thing, right? So definitely, but you might have to get another floor, right? You might have to get another floor.
Right,
soon.
That's it. I know.
But it gives you another opportunity to sit down and bring some more ideas to life. So you're spoiled, really. Let's be honest.
There you go. I know. It's wonderful. It's great.
Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. I love hearing you've definitely given me a whole new idea of what to expect from your industry. Because, if I think about the things that you're doing in your business, it's the opposite of what traditionally I think most people would think, is that fair to say?
Sure.
I feel like
that's true.
I feel like I'm being mean to the industry, but that's kind of the opposite of what I typically come across, being honest. And I spoke to many of your colleagues and peers, so I love the work you're doing, and especially given your why and purpose as a business and the clients you serve, I think it's amazing that you create that culture internally, which in turn, of course, is then going to give a positive impact for your customers, right? And for your employees as well.
Yeah.
So I love the work you're doing, and I love your journey as well. So congratulations on what you've achieved from where you are to what you're doing now. So you're clearly in the right place to serve the organization and the people. So, but before we wrap up, if there's sort of one parting piece of advice you could give to everyone, kind of based on what we've discussed, what would that be? And if people want to connect with you and reach out to you personally, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think that the parting advice might be a little cheesy, but I think take chances, push yourself, make it fun, and just enjoy the journey. That's really, for me, cliche, but it's so true. And that's really what I try and tell myself in everything in life. In terms of reaching out to me, LinkedIn, obviously I'm on LinkedIn, and happy to connect with anyone.
It's funny how it's like, obviously I'm on LinkedIn. Do you know, have you never noticed that? It's like more and more, I'm like LinkedIn. It's like, obviously we're on LinkedIn. Everyone says the same thing now. So it's LinkedIn's taken over the business world of the social media.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, when most things that are cliche are normally right, because that's the whole point. They become a cliche because they're said so
That's true.
often. And it's because and people say that it's cliche. No, but normally they're the most important things as well. And things that we forget about because they're so obvious sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So definitely worth saying as well. And I always say to the team here, if we're not having fun, then we probably shouldn't be doing what we're doing because, it's life's too short. And I spent many years like you did in a company where that wasn't appreciated. And yes, we were getting financial results and making money, but I hated getting up every day going to work. And
Right.
when we first started the company, I always say to the team, yes, I'm earning much less money. I just started this company. I don't have any money because I'm obviously building this business, but I've never been so happy before. And most friends and family couldn't understand that. And I was like, until you're in a company where you really enjoy it and getting up and going to work, what you do, you don't understand it. And it sounds like that's what you created with the team. So congratulations again. Well, look, for everyone listening, as always, guys, if you head over to hrleaders.com, you'll find the show notes from the episode, everything we've been talking about. There'll be a link to Jennifer's LinkedIn profile there. So Jennifer, you will get a lot of messages. I'm sorry in advance. And apart from that, thanks for coming on the show. And I wish you all the best until we come out and visit you, and we can set up some massages for us. We can give us a tour of the office. Is that
Nice.
Right? And just inviting myself right now.
I look forward to it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank
Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya. Bye.
Thank you too. Bye.